experts are ringing the alarm bells. We all know that, if this keeps on spreading, we might, end up going for another lockdown, another shelter in place. So my question to you is, what can we do to, bring that outreach, tell them like, hey, you need to mask up?
Yeah, I think you're asking the question for the ages. How do you make young people not take risky behaviors?
The masks are the one piece of guidance that actually is quite effective. You'll see people do a lot of things. All the hand sanitizer, the little tiny stupid plexiglass shields that the air goes right around and above. All of this stuff, and the one way in and one way out of a room, these are much less effective than masking. And with masking, the way I figure it, you are trying to reduce maybe 99 to 100% of the infection. With all of these other measures combined, you are probably chasing between 0 and 1% of infection. And frankly, it's puzzling why people do the one thing that doesn't work rather than the thing that does.
Studies show, CDC's own studies show that masks help, especially if you double mask, because the cloth mask itself is more of a source control, as in the source of the spray of the aerosols. The cloth masks mostly help, but it's not good for inhalation. But if you have double masks, 2 cloth masks, or a cloth mask and a regular surgical mask, it makes a huge difference in the reduction of the aerosols inhaled by someone else. And these are CDC's own MMWR studies. So masks definitely work. And I always tell people Delta variant is not like any previous variant we've seen. Delta variant is a 2.0 pandemic variant. It is faster, higher, stronger, like in the Olympic terms. It is 2 times more transmissible than the oldest strain, Wuhan 1.0. It's about 50 times more transmissible than the Alpha. And in terms of severity, it is 4 times more severe than the original, 4 to 5. I think the science is really settled around masks. The issue is whether vaccinated people should still wear masks.
So even vaccinated people should be wearing masks now, especially when they're going to be in contact in large groups.
I think the debate tends to center around the idea of how hard should we try to get rid of COVID-19. I would argue, if I want to make a mistake, I want to make a mistake on the side of certainty. I would like to see this thing gone, and the vaccine works. We have the tools that we need to stop this between vaccines and masks. And the difficulty is one of public relations, basically convincing people to do the right thing, even though it's a step more difficult and annoying than doing the wrong thing.
Then we need to have mitigation, because you can't just say kids are immune. That is not true. 1 in 12 children get long COVID. 1 in 7 adults, 1 in 12 children. And that is not an acceptable statistic. If I said your car seat has a failure rate of 1 in 12, no one would buy this car seat. No one would accept those kind of risks. And the amount of long COVID symptoms should not be dismissed. It's not like a long COVID among a 60-year-old. Long COVID in children could stay with them and hurt their development for many, many years. So there are solutions, but
there is a very direct relationship between the virus growing and the virus mutating, because this is a virus that will make mistakes automatically as part of its growth. For the virus, this is a fitness advantage. The way I imagine it, imagine you had a plumber who comes to your house and he will have all these different wrenches for any possible thing that would need to be opened or closed. the virus is very small, and so it can't carry a full toolbox. And so what it does is bring in one medium-sized wrench and then mutate it a little bit, larger or smaller, so that it can do whatever the job needs to be. This is just how viruses function, and there are actually studies where if you turn down the virus's ability to change, the virus becomes less fit and dies out.
Until the vaccinations get high enough, we have to focus on other things, and that's masking, ventilation, air disinfection, contact tracing. That's in your hands. All these things, and then mass testing whenever there's hotspots. Those are all in your hands. You can control, you can implement, and I think that take the leadership like LA County did. Take more leadership in all these different approaches, in addition to asking people to vaccinate. Doing all of the above is like the Swiss cheese approach, that even if one approach is leaky, if you layer enough Swiss cheese layers together, you will create a wall. And that's what we want, a wall against COVID, not just a leaky fence against COVID.